Hello, everybody. Hope, you're all doing well. Hey, Nevermore, how's it going? Damn good timing, then. I am doing pretty good. How are you? Well, it nearly happened again. I was ready to lie down. I was ready to lie down and not do a stream today. But no, I'm still awake. Oh, forgot how much already. Immediately forgot how night streams go for me. These are gonna be a thing to still, forever, and always get used to. Apparently, I'm never going to. Doing pretty great? Good, good. Glad to hear. Glad to hear. So, as everyone can tell, we are back with Fruit of Grisaia today, continuing on with the Yumiko route. Because of course we are. The last route we have in this game. And in all honesty, not too much happened the last time we streamed it. What exactly did? We're just carrying on our Yuji and Sakaki were just carrying on their normal day of her going to, like, the riverfront there to draw a landscape picture. But then it started to rain. And this was actually also after Yumiko tried to sincerely thank him and Yuji turned it into a big joke and got her pissed off. Then it started to rain, they hid under the bridge to get out of the rain, but Yumiko was absolutely fucking terrified. And then it was from there going into the backstory of just kind of her life and her family. Namely, her mother more or less being married off to someone more well-off than her family in hopes of reviving her family's dying business. And to hopefully also get an heir for the other one's family, but then Yumiko was born, and I guess that kind of fucked things up. So, yeah, the family life wasn't exactly super great. And then also her mother is really sick and can't really have another kid. There's a lot going on. Yumiko had kind of a shitty childhood and upbringing. That's why the last night stream I'm going to be able to watch until next Saturday. My birthday's next Friday, and alter my sleep schedule and stay up late watching streams isn't good to be awake a whole day to be part of it. Yeah, true. It's okay. Really, I need to alter my sleep schedule too a bit. At the very least, I need a go to bed at this time, all the time kind of thing. I don't. I really need to, though. I really need to. But yeah, no worries. No worries if I not gonna be able to catch as many streams before. That's perfectly fine. Be able to tune in when you can. That's all that really matters to me. You don't even have to say anything, really. It's perfectly fine. We appreciate lurkers here. Lurkers are the backbone of this entire platform. And we also appreciate people that are in VOD Squad, watching the VODs. I think I have a few people that do that. I believe. So that's always appreciated too. So yeah, no worries. You never have to let me know if you're going to be missing anything or all that. It's perfectly fine. It's all 100% perfectly fine. I know how life is. Life, you know, kind of takes priorities. Hopefully be able to see your morning ones. Those are mid-afternoon for me. I hope we see a certain planned surprise. Do I do it now? I'm gonna wait until after stream to say what the surprise is because it's part of my main schedule, which I have not posted on Discord yet because, well, I just haven't yet. I'm going to. In fact, I'm going to do it at the same time as I tell you guys exactly what is going on next week. Here live. Ain't I a stinker? I'm gonna at least prep the message, so I just have to go back to Discord, hit enter, and then, you know, everyone will see it. but it's gonna sit there, prepped, in the schedule category for a while. One sneaky suspense-building Baron. I try. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it may not be as, you know, grand as I apparently seem to be building it up to be, but I'm excited for it. I've been excited for it for a while. And now that it's actually happening, I'm like even more excited. I'm always happy, okay? I like making plans like this. Yeah, so what's going to happen next week, I will reveal at the end of stream, because we do have something very special. Definitely going to be the first for this channel. The first for this channel. Tell you that much, at least. Where are we? Right there. So yeah, we're just going to load up Yumiko's route, continue on with her backstory, which is more than likely going to take up the entirety of this stream. And depending on how long it is and how much I get distracted and talking with you guys a lot, could potentially go into the next Grisaia stream. Who knows? These backstory ones usually like to take a little while. They're very, very long-winded. Very long-winded. Looking at you, fucking Amane. 90% of your route is backstory. What the fuck was that? I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all. Alright, so, yeah, I don't have anything else super special to say right now that isn't going to be left for after stream, so, yeah, let's just get into it. Oh, yes, that's right. She also, because her mother is now straight up hospitalized, she visits her every day. And tries to continually talk non-stop to her, just so her mother doesn't just end up saying, like, apologizing to Yumiko for nothing in particular, just apologizing. Which is apparently a habit Yumiko herself has now also adopted, just apologizing for no reason, just to fill a gap in a silence. So she just wants to keep talking about things to fill the time, give her mother no chance to have it, you know, be able to just interrupt and just say, I'm sorry. Yeah. Right, I gotta alter the title quick. It's not by much, but just for the command CW, content warning, which I have yet to fix still. Because this is Grisaia, we get the backstory, there's always fucking something terrible going on in them. So, content warning for Fruit of Grisaia. Content warning in general. Fruit of Grisaia deals with some very heavy topics and situations. If at any moment you feel uncomfortable watching and need to walk away or close stream, please do so. We all understand. Yeah, that's all I got there. Content warning is working. It gave me one when I first clicked on the stream. Oh, it's because I added a different content thing. Like one of the content filters I have to add now. Just by Grisaia's very nature, there's a lot of sexual, like, talk in general. So I figured, let's just throw that in for these streams. So, yeah, everyone who's clicking on this now is going to have to click, yeah, I'm okay with that. That's just how it's going to be right now. It's a little weird the way that system's going to work, but I think once you click it, you're okay with it for one channel. Like, just this channel. If I ever use that tag again, you're okay with it for life. Kind of thing. I believe. I think that's how it works. I could be wrong. But who knows. But, so yeah. Alright. And I didn't really say it last time, but when I'm doing these backstory parts, I do just, again, do something of a voice to differentiate backstory girl, you know, the girl's narration from regular Yuji narration. It's just, I don't know, it's just something I kind of started to do. It just helps differentiate the two in my head. Because this is supposed to be them relaying all of this to Yuji, technically. So it wouldn't be his narration he's hearing, it's their narration. So, alright. I also just do the same, like, kind of generic voice for all of these ones, just cause. It's just a little... It's simpler that way.
The first year of my middle school life flowed by aimlessly. The only thing I had gained in that time was a bit of textbook knowledge. Apart from that, I hadn't learned a thing. I'm fairly sure my grades were good. I didn't want to give anyone the chance to criticize me on that front. Becoming a difficult child would be too risky. My place in the world was tenuous enough as it was. Thinking back on it now, I might have been happier just running away. But having spent my entire life shut up inside a box, the idea of trying to escape didn't even occur to me. Just as 1 year ago, I said goodbye to no one in particular and left the house alone. Nothing had changed. The scenery was the same. My life was the same. Everything in that country town was static.
奥様と旦那様を恨まないでやってくださいな。元はとてもお優しい方だったんですよ。
Yeah, the only positive, like, adult figure she has is the former caretaker made something for her grandparents' place? They don't pay her anymore, because I guess they can't, but she still comes by to do things, regardless. I guess just out of a sense of loyalty.
That morning, when Toshi-san handed me my lunchbox, I found myself grumbling a few rare complaints about my situation. The targets were mainly my grandparents. We'd been living together for many years now, and still, they only spoke to me when it was absolutely necessary. Every moment I spent in that house made me feel as if I was slowly suffocating.
だけど、おじいちゃんもおばあちゃんも、まるで私がいないかのような態度を取るんだもの。貧すれば心も鈍する。今は由美子嬢ちゃんに構って差し上げられる余裕がないんですよ。家業の具合がようなれば、それも変わってくると思いますからの。
Excuse me.
そうなのかしら。由美子嬢ちゃんはこんなにいい子なんですから、いつかきっとちゃんと見てくださいますよ。
You decrepit old neighbor.
それまではこのババで我慢してくださいな。我慢だなんて、としえさんにはいつもお世話になりっぱなしで。嬢ちゃん。
Nothing about our household had changed in years. As always, our lifestyle was dependent on Toshi-san's quiet assistance. She took care of us all without a single complaint. But I hadn't seen my grandparents show her gratitude for everything she did. Not even once. Toshi-san's son, who lived with his wife in the neighborhood, clearly wanted to pry his mother away from her unrewarded servitude to the Kawamoto family. I'd overheard them having a heated fight on the topic.
Hey, Mochi, how's it going? No more Grimace birthday shake? Yeah, no more of that. God, someone released a comic with that, and just like, now people are feeling bad about making the memes of them dying from him. Which I was like, God damn it, even I feel bad, and I didn't even know what the fuck the joke was about the Grimace shakes. Yeah, how you doing, Moch? Oh, and perfect. You're here right now, Mochi. This is excellent. I get to test something out. This is something I worked on very quickly. Sort of. I think, was it yesterday or the day before? I think it was the day before. Might have been the day before. You got your own command now, Moch. Yeah, I did that for a few of my friends and VIPs that are streamers. A Baron command must be done. This is my fucking channel. I'm not gonna make a command for myself. That's way too self-serving. I already have Nightbot saying, hey, you like the content? Follow. I don't need a command. I don't need a command in my own damn chat. Oh. You don't have to. I just did that because I'm always going to forget to shout people out, and that stuff is always annoying for me to have to type things in. So I figured, alright, the people I know that... the people I know are here that stream a lot all the time, or friends that I know that stream, yeah, I'll just make a straight up command in there. Just make straight up commands. I got one for you, I got one for a few other people. Whenever they happen to show up, I will be firing those off. No, I don't have a grimace command. Are you shitting me? Why would I have Grimace? I haven't had McDonald's in like a month and a half, if not longer. Grimace is dead. I'm surprised he was alive anymore. I thought they just quietly shoved him and all the old McDonald's characters in a corner to die. Like, I don't see Ronald McDonald in on anything anymore. He's just gone. Don't really see anything but the Hamburglar. I don't know what the bird was. And the two hairy ball things with legs, fucking I don't even know. They made a... What? Game Boy Color game? That has to be a joke, right? The year's 2023. Let's make a Game Boy Color game. What was it? What? Oh my fucking god, are you kidding me? They made a fucking Game Boy Color game? Most people don't even know what a Game Boy is anymore. As sad as that is, I remember getting a Game Boy Pocket. Not the original Game Boy. That was still too old for me. That was still a little bit before, a little bit before my time. Game Boy Pocket's when I got into the game. Then the Game Boy Color. And then so on and so forth. Advance SP, DS, 3DS. Why the fuck does this exist? 2DS. Why that existed, I don't know. How is that truly portable? It's a giant fucking square. Try shoving that in your pocket. God, now I'm remembering me and my friends always having this joke debate on who's got the better everything. Because one of us had a 2DS, the other had a 3DS XL, and I had just a 3DS. And we'd always joke how ours was the superior model. I believe any times they brought up that the 3DS XL was better, I said it was just oversized piece of junk. How can you hold that and put that in your pocket? Yeah, sure, it's got a bigger screen, but does it really need to be that big? Coming from the guy that panic bought a Nintendo 3DS after he pre-ordered Pokemon X. Yep, I did that. I did that. I decided to get back into the Pokemon game. I pre-ordered Pokemon X, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh wait, shit, I don't even own a 3DS. Alright, GameStop, what do you got for used 3DSs? And I bought one. Still have it. It's sitting in one of my towers, dead. I think with Fire Emblem, shit, what's it called? I forget the full title. It's like Shadows of Valencia. A Fire Emblem game. There's a Fire Emblem game sitting inside the slot. Game Boy Pocket was my first Game Boy. Mom got me that and Pokemon Yellow at the time. Pokemon was starting to get trendy and she got me it so I could fit in. Didn't work, but I love Pokemon though. Yeah, me and my sister had a Pocket each and had, one of us got blue, the other got red. Hilariously enough, our mom was playing it. She would just bring it with her to work at the time, just to kind of kill time, I think, during breaks, and got a little farther than we did ever. Eventually, we just, just sat down and beat the damn games. Eventually, we got a copy of Yellow. Somehow, we eventually got, like, a second copy of Yellow. I don't know how. Like, that just happened. Somehow, we got a second copy of Yellow. I feel like just it might have got left behind at the hotel my mom worked at, and she just took it at some point. I don't know. That because her boss traveled a lot. We also somehow ended up with a copy of Pokemon Green. Yeah, we got Green. And then we had Japanese Gold and Silver. Before the games even came out over here for like a short little while. We couldn't understand a thing that was happening. Again, it was all in Japanese, and I was a dumb kid. You know, I tried to spell my damn name. I looked at the letters it was showing, all the Japanese characters for the, the make your name, whatever, and I just figured, okay, that's gonna be A, B, C, D. I just going like that. It's like, yeah, sure, I that's definitely not how it works, but, yeah. That was for me attempting. I didn't know what items I picked up. I have no idea what fucking items we picked up. They were just a thing. When will Pokemon fucking damn release? I don't know, the same time as Pokemon shit and piss? Oh wait, Scarlet and Violet already came out. No offense to anyone that enjoys those games, I'm just going off of memes. I think she thought Pikachu looked cute, figured I'd like it. I love that little yellow pixel mouse. I would sit there mimicking the Pikachu noises. I, to this day, want them to bring back Fat Pikachu. Give us that chunky boy back. They made him too slim. Sword and Shield kinda got it right. Kinda. But I mean, that was just like not specifically Pikachu, but like an special version of him. But I want my fat Pikachu, damn it. Sorry, I'm getting the pictures real quickly. I must demonstrate my point. Because this is a point that must be made. Loved it when playing Pokemon. Let's Go Pikachu was like my Pokemon journey gone full circle. Yeah, people actually say those are very good games. And I am inclined to believe. I'm inclined to believe they're actually very good games. I haven't played them because I don't have the console to play them. Like, give me back Chonky Pikachu. Look at this thick boy. I want him back. Like, what do we have now? Like, just... Look at this anorexic rat. What the fuck happened? He had so much soul as a big fat fuck. And now he's that. Okay, I don't want Pikachu to have a defined neck. I'm sorry. What are you talking about? Scarlet and Violet is Pokemon wasted in potential? Pokemon Game Freak and gave up? Let's go Eevee is mad. I just want my Pika Pika starter back. Yeah, I am a big advocate for bring back thick Pikachu. Bring him back. Bring him back. Bring back thick Pikachu. I love this bastard. Okay, this is the Pikachu that would try to eat an entire apple whole and nearly die choking on it, requiring anime George Clooney to save his life. I got Baron, your one issue. I want my fat necklace fucker back. Doc told him he's one Poketreat away from gout, so he had to make lifestyle changes. Again, big fat Pikachu did try to eat an apple whole, and it took anime George Clooney to save his life. That's not even a joke, by the way. That's not a joke. I wish I was joking, but no, that is not a joke. The character of Dr. Proctor in the original Pokemon anime, he's based off of the character George Clooney played on ER. So, we literally have anime George Clooney saving Pikachu's life. Never gonna live. I was like, God, my friends' minds were blown when we found that out. But then we also question, wait, how could a hospital just close for the day? That's not a thing that can happen. Also, why is this entire hospital run by a single doctor? Get out of that diet, you necklace mouse! I'm sorry, I like my big fat Pikachu. He's much more cuddly. You could literally use him as a pillow. I barely even recognize him now. Trying to get through a backstory, and here I am getting mad that my fake cartoon rat isn't fat enough. The things I say on stream. Somewhere I have a stuffed toy of Fat Pikachu. If I find him, I will photo him just for you. I would appreciate that. Oh my god. No, Pikachu wouldn't touch it, because Pikachu loves ketchup. Pikachu's very well-defined trait in that one episode featuring an Electabuzz and a Scyther. Pikachu really likes ketchup and will eat whole bottles of it. And will be really, really sad if the bottle breaks. Man, the original Pokemon anime was wild. Good Lord Almighty. How do we even get on this topic? You would so give him a bottle of ketchup topped off with Fat Fast, newly invented alternative to Slim Fast. It's called lard. Just lard. Just shovel gallons upon gallons of lard down his gullet. no one actually do that to their pets, please. That's just gonna end terribly for everyone involved. I mean literally everyone involved. What the fuck am I even saying anymore? I got this, like, sad, depressing music going on, talking about, give me my Chonky-Chew. I want Chonky-Chew back. Oh, man. This is why I love streaming. Instructions unclear, made my rat diabetic. Fuck. Oh, good lord. There probably is somewhere out there. There probably is a bunch of animals that are diabetic, I'm thinking. It has to be. I feel like it's probably rare, but it probably has happened. Let's see. Yep. Diabetes is a common disease in dogs and cats. Oh. Can you just imagine having to give insulin to your dog every day? Interesting. I had a diabetic dog. She passed away a few years ago. Oh, that's unfortunate. Poor thing, the incompetent vet fat shamed her until she was too late. She did need injections. Ah. Oh, poor thing. Fun fact, bears are immune to diabetes. They physically cannot get it. And also, if you try to eat a bear's liver, you will in fact die because it's just so full of sodium, I believe. It's just too much for a human system to deal with. It just kills you if you try to eat it. Because remember, everyone, too much of something is bad for you. Even water. You can give yourself, like, water poisoning, essentially. If you just drink too much water, you're overhydrating yourself. That is a thing. Having too much of anything is a bad thing. So yeah, no, don't eat bear liver. You cannot eat bear liver. We are physically incapable of eating it and not having some serious side effects. You can eat the livers of other animals, just not bear. I love liver. Love it. What about too much grim? Oh my! You want this Grimace shake? Good lord, man! You got McDonald's stocks or something? Trying to convince me to buy this stuff? Excuse me. I apologize for that. I probably should have muted my mic. I really apologize for that. Ah, you son of a bitch, you're in bed with Ronald McDonald. Ooh. I'm also trying to, like, partially stay awake right now. I'm more tired than I thought I'd be. I mean, it makes sense. I spent all day running around, essentially, lifting a lot of stuff. And now I've just gone from going full bore to slow pace, so everything's just finally caught up to me. It's just like, okay, Go to bed, go to bed, go to bed, go to bed. Slow the fuck down. It's going a little too slow. Hence, this for the sugar rush. Hopefully. Probably not, though. Oh, well. I mean, as long as I start talking, I'm fine. As long as I'm not literally dozing off on stream, I'm also fine. This isn't going to suddenly become a I'm just sleeping stream. I don't think I'll ever do one of those. But if I do, you literally would not be seeing me. I would just be leaving this on. You'd be looking at nothing while I go to bed around the corner. But I don't know if I would trust leaving my stream on for that long without anything, happening connection-wise. I kind of don't like to, leave stuff like this alone for very long. Especially because no one would really have any way of getting in contact with me if something goes wrong. And also, I'd rather not be woken up in the middle of the night because my stream died.
Baron likes to sleep. Whenever he can get it.
Which, I mean, is a lot more... I'm able to get a lot more sleep now compared to a few months ago in my old place. So... bonus. I'll take it. Also, I've been rambling for too long. We're looking at the same screen. I'm going to continue a little bit here. Mochi walking in here with the grimace shakes.
Our life was the same as it had always been, but beneath the surface, it was slowly coming apart at the seams.
Yeah, you chuckle to yourself. She'll probably stop coming over if she dies. That's my guess. Toshi-san's probably gonna die. And then Yumiko will have lost the, only positive adult figure in her life.
One day, I was making my way along a sloping road I had once walked with my mother, bombarded by the cries of cicadas. The area around my grandparents' home was a district with strict regulations on the height and variety of buildings, so the scenery hadn't changed much in the years since my mother entered the hospital. It was picturesque in a way that seemed to appeal to rich people. Many city dwellers had their second houses nearby, but I could never come to enjoy the scenery. It left me cold. The things that mattered to me changed for the worse, but the things I hated, the things that left me cold, never seemed to go away. Driven by frustrating, indistinct feelings of powerlessness, I began to walk faster. But with a flinch of surprise, my legs suddenly came to a halt.
Yeah, ohayo, Yumiko-chan.
Huh?
学校に行くところ？歩きながらでいいからさ、ちょっとおじさんの話に付き合ってもらえないかな。
Well, that's creepy.
After that moment of hesitation, my legs began to move once more, faster than before. Striding along almost like a race walker, I hurried down the road leading to my school.
お父さんがね、最近またちょっとおじさんの耳に入ってくるようなことをやっててね。
Fucking reporters.
それで騒ぎになっているんだよ。二宮さんって由美子ちゃんの知り合いにいなかった？ちょうどお母さんと同じぐらいの年の女の人なんだけど、もし知ってたら何でもいいんだ。おじさんに教えてくれないかな。
How about you leave the middle schooler alone, creepy reporter man?
それと、これは由美子ちゃんの家のことなんだけど、お母さんが昔お父さんと一緒に暮らしてた時に。
おじさん。
なんだい、ユミコちゃん。
Coming to an abrupt halt, I turned to face the man.
前にも言いましたが、私何も言いません。質問にも答えません。
Well, that's a thing.
だからこうやってまとわりつくのをやめてください。
いや、だからだね、ユミコちゃん。
名前で慣れ慣れしく呼ぶのもやめてください。
Yeah, that's kind of a thing we all kind of take for granted over here, just adding the Chan suffix to things. That's not really something you're supposed to do, unless it's like you were talking to a child. Pretty much. Or very, very, very close friends. In any other context, it's, you know, kind of demeaning. Very demeaning. Especially if you use it to, like, a grown adult. Then it's incredibly demeaning. San is always, you know, kind of the safe bet. Because, I mean, that just, you know, shows respect. At the very least. That shows respect. But Chan, no, that's for, like, little kids and very close friends. And also, don't use the first name either. That's also just for, like, close friends and family. You gotta use the family name.
Yeah, やれ。父親譲りだな、ありゃ。
There was one significant change in my stagnant life. A reporter from a gossip magazine, whose job seemed to consist of digging for information on my father, was making a habit of loitering around me. I had first met him during the winter of my first year in junior high. At the time, I was still comically naive. He approached with kind words and sympathy, two things I wasn't used to getting, and convinced me to open up to him about my family's circumstances. Pathetic as it was, I didn't realize that it was all for an article until the moment my grandmother threw the tabloid in my face and delivered a furious scolding. Humiliated and bitter, I swore to myself to never again discuss personal matters with strangers, or to trust their compassion. And despite it all, the very same journalist had the nerve to show his face in front of me again. Every time something happened, he'd come around sniffing for scraps of information. Speaking with him felt like brushing against an enormous and particularly slimy leech. I marched ahead as quickly as I could, one fierce step after another, trying to shake off the lingering residue of our encounter. But then again, the place I was hurrying to wasn't exactly pleasant in its own right.
駅前んとこのさ、ロータリーのとこでヤマッチいたんよ。声かけたらあいつ逃げやがってさ。
あいつ最近付き合い悪いよな。彼女できたのかな、やっぱし。
嘘、ヤマッチ誰かと付き合ってんの？
あれ、知らんかった？ C 組の木本いんじゃん。あいつどう？
Okay. So she's a pariah in her own class. Okay. Figured as much. Oh, looks like the opening scene classroom Digimon survive. I mean, that's just a Japanese schoolroom in general. A good chunk of them look like this. Big ass open window with the desks. Very simple desks and chairs. There's not that much uniqueness, in all honesty. There's one thing you can always expect in any kind of high school setting of an anime. Having these exact same desks and chairs, and the main character will always be on the left by the window, usually at the back, so they can look out the window like they don't care. Every time.
would have been much easier if they'd simply treated me like I didn't exist. Their clumsy method of ignoring me could sometimes become a weapon as sharp as any insult. I was well past the point of letting each and every sudden silence weigh on my mind, but it still wasn't exactly a pleasant feeling.
今日も来てんぞ。
あいつ成績はいいけど母親は入院してんだよな。
Oh my god, it is Mari. How are you doing? Also, I get to use this now. Because this is a thing I did. You have your own command now as well, Mari. You have your own command, a bunch of other friends that are streamers have commands. Oh my god, you have tempted and commanded equally. Yeah, how you doing, Mari? It's technically not a shout-out. Technically. It just has a link to your page. Yeah, I decided to kind of do that, I think it was like 2 days ago. I kind of like it. I'm doing pretty good. I am just my usual a little fatigued after work. But nothing I ain't used to. How are you? Doing good, good. Eating some weenies. The biggest weenies around, or a bunch of small ones, so you can just really shovel them in. There's only two ways. Why'd I put 3? There's only 2 ways to do it. You're very welcome. Just for all you've really missed is just some more backstory. Just some backstory about the one girl here and how her just growing up as a child was kind of shit. How everyone just kind of hated her existence, more or less. Alright, Moch, no worries, bud. You have a good day. Thanks for stopping in, man. You did bring a million grimace shakes. Deborah, now I want to draw fat Pikachu. That's also just kind of something you missed, me going on a small tirade of how they need to bring back fat Pikachu. Bring back this big fat fucker. I want him back. I don't need this anorexic rat. I'm sorry. He needs to have no neck. He can't have a defined neck. This design needs to go. Bring back Chonkachu. Everyone loves fat Pikachu. They've just gradually slimmed him down over the years. Not me and my friends are not a fan. We like our big fat boy. I'm glad you're on the fat Pikachu train, Mari. And clearly Nevermore is as well. We're converting more and more people to the right Pikachu.
きっとあの子もさ、そういうのを。
The more I tried to ignore them, the more their whispers seemed to pierce their way into my ears. A year had passed since I'd first set foot into the school. By then, there wasn't a single person in my class who didn't know all about my family.
Yeah, I don't mind a love Pika Pika fat or thin. Hell yeah. Yeah, to fully give you kind of the very brief summary of what her life is, her childhood was like so far, her mom was essentially married off to a richer, more well-off family, because theirs wasn't her family's business wasn't doing too well, and was hoping that would kind of help with the money issues. She was born, and everyone was disappointed because they expected a boy, so they would have a proper heir, because Japan. So her father became very just kind of like dismissive of both her and her mother, barely spending any time at their home. Then eventually they moved back to her mother's parents' place. Her mother got hospitalized. Her grandparents never really talked to her, and if they do, it's never in good terms. They're always talking about how she's just kind of a waste of space. And basically no one really likes her, and even her mother is just kind of like saying sorry for literally everything and any chance she can get. Essentially like, sorry you're born, I guess? Sorry I'm a shitty mom, too? It's, yeah. Standard Grisaia fare. Very standard Grisaia fare, just like a terrible backstory. So far no one has died, so that's something. I mean, I half expect the mom to die in the hospital. But nothing like super violent or terrible has happened. There ain't no box cutter chiseling happening. Or cannibalism. At least yet. It's Grisaia. I never know what to expect in this game.
There's no such thing as privacy in the countryside. The real nature of my mother's illness, which should have been kept absolutely confidential by the hospital, had filtered all the way down to middle schoolers' gossip. A purely academic question occurred to me. If this wasn't despair, then what exactly would qualify?
ここも逃げられない。
I opened my sketchbook beneath my desk, making sure nobody could see. I'd kept at my art, and flipping through the book, it was obvious that my ability to depict fine details had come a long way in the last year. But all that really proved was how obsessively I'd sought escape. How deeply detached I'd grown from the world around me. Rather than pride, I felt something like nausea. Even my art was beginning to lose its value as a refuge. The room was pure white. Nothing had changed here. Not the room, not even my mother's posture in her bed. It was as if I'd never left. Every time I walked in that door and saw her sitting there, I felt a surge of irrepressible pity run through me.
お母さん、来たわよ。
あ、ユミコ。いらっしゃい。
As always, I saw my mother in profile. As always, her gaze didn't turn to me. As always, she smiled quietly. But there was no tenderness in that expression. She was simply moving her face into that shape. It was an empty imitation of a real smile.
本持ってきたから。
I lowered a small bundle of books and weekly magazines my mother had requested onto the shelf beside her bed. They usually came in the mail, but sometimes I happened to run into a nurse who would hand them over to me for a more personal delivery.
そう。ありがとう。
Of course, the weeklies in question were respectable, established publications that largely kept away from the scandals and rumors circulated by the tabloids. We couldn't take the risk of her reading something like that article I had unwittingly contributed to the previous winter. It undoubtedly would have set back her treatment, which was already proceeding slowly enough. My mother's newfound reading habit seemed to be part of an attempt to learn more about my father and the company he was running. Looking at that thick pile of magazines and books, I felt my chest tighten at her obvious desperation. Mom had never known much about the business. I would have been surprised if she could understand half of what she was reading.
ご飯残してるみたいね。看護師さんが言ってた。
そう。
今度、トシエさんにご飯作ってきてもらうね。病院のよりはずっと美味しいと思うから。
そう。
Yeah, her mom is super dismissive. She just doesn't want to say a thing. Ever.
Our interactions followed the same familiar pattern. I chattered away relentlessly while my mother muttered vaguely. Lately, even those monosyllabic responses had grown repetitive and careless. Almost as if she was beginning to treat the world with the same careless disinterest my father had shown her. It was a particularly difficult visit. My mother barely spoke, and I ran out of things to say fairly quickly. As the hours I'd spent at school had grown increasingly suffocating, I was spending more and more time wandering around in search of quiet places where I could be alone. These days, I frequently found myself lacking for stories to tell.
そろそろ帰るわ。
I rose quietly from my seat. My mother's face, as always, didn't turn toward me. It had been a truly pathetic excuse for a conversation, and I had little hope tomorrow would be any better. The things I wanted to stay the same fell apart. The things I wanted to change stayed exactly as they were. Time no longer seemed to be flowing. It was a stagnant, brackish pool, and even treading water was becoming a struggle.
Gotta hand it to them. They really love to describe their situations like this. Like, time was no longer flowing. It was a stagnant, brackish pool, and even treading water was a struggle. How does someone come up with that? Like, I gotta give it to them. The writing in this is actually, like, really good. At least I believe it's really good. That's generally my writing style for stories. Okay, cool.
あなたが
But as I prepared to leave, my mother spoke. That hadn't happened for quite some time.
お母さん。
That one word came as a complete surprise. Was she about to say something? Despite it all, I found myself pausing expectantly, hoping for some positive sign. Thinking the matter over calmly, I was foolish to even imagine her mood had suddenly changed. But I was so starved for a glimmer of hope that my mind latched on to the most opportunistic possible interpretation. Or optimistic. Blech. And then, with a few simple words, my naive, happy end scenario shattered like a fragile piece of glass, like the fragile piece of glass it had always been.
あなたが男の子だったらよかったのにね。
Oof. There. She said it. Favorite metaphor to write is all Pronoun hopes were now a ship on a dark sea, dashed across the craggy shores of fate. I like that. Don't like what she just said, though. That's like a gut punch and a half.
My mother had never said anything like that before. No doubt the thought had crossed her mind, but so long as she had even a shred of rationality remaining, the words could never have passed her lips. After all, if she were to say that, then nothing could ever change. Except to fall apart.
なんでそうじゃなかったのかな。
Something slipped out of my hands and clattered to the floor. A visitor from the company had dropped off a few jelly desserts. I'd been taking one from the shelf with a spoon. My mother had been skipping her meals lately, and I thought she might at least manage to eat that. Considering the season, a white peach jelly seemed appropriate. Maybe it'd be easier for her to hold a spoon with a flat handle? Moments before, those are the only thoughts in my mind. They were gone now, obliterated by my mother's words so completely that it was as if they'd never existed.
Yeah, that's fucked.
I ran as fast as I could, pushing my heart so hard I thought it might sputter to a stop. Down the slope in front of the hospital, up again, onto a large curving detour, past the station, around the corner from a small cleaning store, into the remains of an abandoned factory. Only then, absolutely confident that I was alone, did I finally come to a halt. Gasping for air, I doubled over and held my trembling legs with both hands, propping up a body that seemed ready to collapse. The world flickered before my oxygen-starved eyes. My peripheral vision was dim and clouded, as though I was peering out from inside a tunnel.
Yeah, can you imagine just fucking saying that to your daughter one day? It's like, why couldn't you have been a boy? Like, that's fucked up. Like, that's really, really fucked up.
I feel sweat pouring out from all over my body. My hair and clothes were completely disheveled. I'd fallen at some point on the way over. There were scrapes on my knee and elbow. I pushed myself erect, a tattered mess of a girl.
And again, props to the VAs, because holy fuck, they really put their all into voicing these things. Like, really put their all into voicing these things.
But I couldn't have cared less about any of that. After all, the tears streaming uncontrollably down my face were far more blatantly pathetic than my beat-up clothing.
Good God. That is literal fucking sobbing. Holy shit. Yeah, I know, right? Like, holy crap. That's a convincing sob. I've made noises like that trying to speak while crying, okay? And so, yeah, that's fucking real.
I could have endured it if she simply complained about something I could fix. I could have behaved better. There was still room for my grades to improve. I could have made myself more presentable. I could have cut every strand of hair to the exact same length. I could have learned to walk in a refined way, at an absolutely steady pace.
Mari, smash. Hey Nick, how's it going, buddy?
But no matter what, I was powerless to undo the reality of my own birth. Why did she have to choose the one thing I could never, ever change? My grandparents were right back then. If it was possible, she would have just tried again.
Oh, good fuck.
She should have crushed that egg in the womb and pretended it never happened.
Jesus Christ.
Better that than this hopelessness. This irreparably broken life.
Oh, fuck. Oh, good fuck. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, this is getting comfy.
Placing my hands against my breast, I pushed down with all my strength. How could a thing so totally beyond my control bring me such misery?
I was so busy with IRL things, I didn't think Fruit of Grisaia stream was this afternoon. It's kind of all over the place, in all honesty. I think I've more or less been keeping them to the afternoons now. I could be wrong, though. They're just kind of everywhere. I gotta remember to use Twitch's actual built-in schedule for stuff like this. It does have that. I did use it a little bit, but I just keep forgetting it's a thing. I really should. Especially when I plan out streams, like, now I can plan out streams like 2-3 weeks in advance. So I gotta do that more, just so you guys are all really well informed. Step away for a couple minutes, so from terrible body smart. Yeah, no worries, Nevermore. No worries. You gotta step away. Go right ahead. You don't even have to say anything. It's all fine. So that's why we got the content warning. It's just a blanket content warning. That is a thing. That is a thing, Nick. It very much is.
Felt a dull, throbbing pain deep inside my chest. The painful pressure was accompanied by a slight twinge of stimulation. Even as I rejected it, my body reminded me that I was female. What the fuck is going?
Oh, good lord. What? Alright, I'm... Huh? This better not be something I'm thinking it is. Yeah, again, once again, content warning, everybody. I did it at the start of it, I'm doing it again. It deals with some very heavy topics and situations. If you have to walk away at all, at any point, because you're feeling uncomfortable, please do. It's okay. You don't even have to say you are. We all understand. I'm getting kind of like right now.
There was pain. at the same time, I could feel the blood throughout my body beginning to stir in an unfamiliar way.
Oh, come on! I'm not even gonna dignify that with any actual spoken words here. Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm just not saying that. I'll say the next part though. That's okay. But that last sentence, hell no, I'm not saying that. That's just I don't like that. I have limits of things I'm willing to say, and something like that, not really. I'm already a little fucking squicked out by this scene. Yeah.
I hated my body. I hated the woman it was becoming.
Even I have my limits.
I didn't ask for that misery. I had no say in my crime. It was born with me. So long as I lived, the pain would always be lurking somewhere deep inside me. If only you'd been a boy. With one phrase, anyone could reduce me to nothing. I could study all I wanted. I could be the sweetest, most well-behaved person in the world. As long as I stayed in that body, my naked vulnerability would never go away.
What are you doing? What is she doing?
I threw open my bag and took out my pencil box. Flipping open—
Oh, good fuck. Why is it always a box cutter? Also, why don't you just have a regular sharpener? Why has it got to be a box cutter? Why are they letting a middle schooler walk around with a box cutter in her bag? What the fuck? Okay. Let's see where this is going.
Flipping open the lid, I retrieved the box cutter I used as a makeshift sharpener for my colored pencils. I wonder when exactly I began to find the act of cutting things apart pleasant. The clicking of the blade emerging from its sheath. The sound of something once being whole, severed apart. Those have become calming sounds to me.
Oh my god, don't do what I think you're gonna do. I don't need Yuri route again. Yeah, I don't like where this is going either.
How wonderful would it be if I could slice away my femininity with a single box cutter? How wonderful would it be if I could sever my fate with the touch of a blade? How wonderful would it be if one movement of my hand could cut me free of all the troubles that coiled around me and choked the air from my lungs?
What is happening? What did you do?
As I cut savagely through the long, identical bundles of black, such thoughts ran through my head, one after another.
Okay, she just cut her hair. Okay. Oh. Okay, she just cut her hair. Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah, thank God, we're safe. There's content warnings, and then there's just what the fuck is going on. This is what happens when I go into this, you know, with no previous knowledge. I get blindsided as much as you guys.
On the boiling concrete, speckled with the remnants of faded paint, clumps of black gathered. They fell like a vile rain until the sun-heated ground was covered in them. I could feel the gloom in my heart fading as I looked down into the darkness. But in its place, that dirty blackness left a layer of filth inside me that could never be cleaned away.
バカマジちげえってそれ
Good lord, what is happening now?
嘘つけそれお前言わおい見ろよあれ
んなんだ何あの髪型
男みてえだよな
Oh, that's the point. She's... Oh, God.
切っちゃったのかな自分でかなでもなんで
あいつんちまた金なくなったんじゃないの
まさか散髪代ぐらい出るだろうそれ
だよね
When I showed up for school with my hairstyle more appropriate for a boy, my classmates' reaction was exactly what I'd expected. They made no effort to hide their amusement. I'd gotten that far uneventfully, not giving them much to work with, so perhaps there was a bit of a recoil effect. Whatever the case, my rough bob cut became an easy target for mockery and speculation. Of course, there wasn't a single person there who showed any concern for me. My grandmother was simply lost for words at first. Not that the aghast expression on her face meant she was worried about me.
そんなみっともないことはこれっきりにしてちょうだい。わかりましたね。
The one and only thing she was concerned about was how poorly my actions would appear in the eyes of society.
ごめんなさい
まったく恥ずかしい。
My grandmother, muttering about shame and humiliation, averted her eyes and disappeared inside the house. And for a very long time, I sat alone in my room, utterly silent except for the voices of the cicadas.
おう由美子嬢ちゃんどうなさったんですかその髪ごめんなさい嬢ちゃんは何も悪くないのにおかわいそうに
The only positive influence she has in her life.
Toshi-san was the only person who showed genuine concern for me. But it didn't make me feel any better to know I'd made the kind old woman worry. More than anything else, her sorrowful face made me regret my rashness. I'd gotten carried away by my emotions and lashed out, but nothing had changed. Nothing was going to change. For the sake of the one or two people who acknowledged my existence, I decided not to repeat my mistake.
Oh.
Toshi-san's death came soon thereafter. As the record-setting heatwave stretched on, the news was constantly occupied with stories of elderly people succumbing to heat stroke. And one day our neighbor, already past her 70th year, was among them.
すみませんがお帰りいただけませんか。そんな、せめてお焼香だけでも。由美子さん、あなたも知ってるでしょう、母が倒れた原因を。それはお給金が出るわけでもないのに、ねぎらいの言葉すらかけてもらえず、川本の家のために働き続けて。申し訳ないと思っています。だったらもううちとは関わらないでください。もう川本の家とは一切の関係をなくしたいんです。地元でも変な噂が立ってますし。
おい早苗、それぐらいにしておきなさい。
はい、わかりました。それじゃこれで。お礼だけでも言いたかった。
Your world is supposed to grow larger as you grow up. Mine seemed only to be shrinking ever smaller. I'd lost Toshi-san, and with her, the small place of refuge in front of our door vanished as well.
Oh my god, it's still going? I'm going to just so I have a save point in case anything happens, which you probably won't. No. No. Lost Days 1? No. There better not be multiple of these. Oh my god. She better not have a fucking massive long backstory section. I'm getting tired of these super long backstory sections. I mean, they're well written and also, you know, make me uncomfortable and you guys uncomfortable, but fuck. Sometimes it's a bit much. Yeah, that was me. Is her backstory over? I saw a saving. No, we're just past what happened. She ended up just cutting her hair with a box cutter. Made it short like a boy's.
Just as I was on the verge of giving up, finally, at long last, a small ray of light broke through the wall of dark clouds.
お母さん、具合いいみたいね。
My mother was eating a mandarin orange served as a treat after her meal. Her expression was as placid as always.
今日はなんだか体も軽く感じるわ。
Oh my god, she's actually talking.
But for once, it didn't look like a mask she'd plastered onto her face. The peace in her eyes seemed real, something that had flowed naturally to the surface from deep inside her. A retreat to the quiet of the countryside hadn't done much at first. If anything, our family tensions had probably taken a toll on my mother. But after many years of peace, it seemed her mind was slowly beginning to regain its equilibrium. The recent downturn had given way to weeks of steady improvement. Once you can meet your own needs, it became possible to worry about the needs of others. My mother had begun to give my questions real responses for the first time in years.
お医者さんもいい兆しだっておっしゃってたし、来週からはお薬も減らしていくっていうことだったから、それで。
We'd never been able to discuss her treatment, but lately it had become a safe topic of conversation. Specifically, her progress was so promising that a discharge from the hospital was coming into view at long last.
来週の月曜日、おばあちゃんと一緒に先生にお話を聞くから、そこでいろいろと今後のことも聞いてくるわね。あと、
由美子。
何？お母さん。
由美子。あのね。ごめんね。お母さん、ひどいこと言って。
Yeah. You did.
あなたにこれだけしてもらっておいて、私男の子の方がいいとか。
Yeah, that's a mark against you, big time.
お母さん、いいから。ほら、みかん食べたから手が汚れてる。
And there she is deflecting.
はい、ティッシュ。食べた皮片付けるわね。
ありがとう。
いいのよ。お母さんは直すことに専念してくれればいいから。私そろそろ戻るね。また明日来るから。
そう、ゆっくりしていけばいいのに。
また明日来るから。
I stood up and waved goodbye with a quavery smile. My mother was still sitting in profile, but I could tell she was smiling in return. Holding that image in my mind, I slipped quietly out of the room. The moment I closed the door behind me, the world began to shimmer through a wall of tears.
お母さん、よかった。
I couldn't remember the last time my mother had showed that kind of concern for me. I don't know if she ever had. By the standard of a healthy parent-child relationship, I guess it was an insignificantly small thing. But for me, at that moment, those tentative words of compassion were enough to inspire overwhelming happiness. A happiness so strong that I couldn't help but break down and sob.
よくなる。よくなってる。
Okay, they're happy tears. Happy tears are something we like. We like happy tears.
Spoke the words again and again, as if to fix that fact more firmly in reality. Perhaps Toshi-san had taken pity on me and stopped by to heal my mother on her way to heaven. Things were suddenly moving in such a positive direction that such thoughts seemed almost plausible.
Where's it all gonna go wrong? It's all gonna go wrong, isn't it?
The next week, my grandmother and I went to meet with my mom's physician for an update on her condition. Normally, I was the only one who attended those meetings, but the progress was significant enough that he asked Grandma to come as well.
美佐子さんは間違いなく解放に向かっています。
Flipping through the papers in his hand, he gave us a detailed account of my mother's symptoms and current status. Not that I really needed to hear any of it. I already knew she was recovering. For someone who'd visited her every single day for years, it was impossible to miss the transformation.
それでもう娘は大丈夫なんでしょうか?
Once the doctor's explanation came to an end, my grandmother leaned forward, clinging to his arm as she spoke.
治療も順調に進んでおりますし、このまま退院の準備を始めてもいいでしょう。
The moment those words left his mouth, my grandmother lowered her head so deeply I thought she might topple out of her chair and prostrate herself on the floor.
ありがとうございます。ありがとうございます、先生。
やめてください。頭をお上げになってください。
これで榊さんの家にも申し訳が立ちます。ありがとうございます。
Oh my god.
Grandma continued to lavish her thanks on the doctor. As always, doing her best to pretend I wasn't even in the room. Mom's return to her husband would ensure that the Kawamoto business would continue receiving support from the Sakaki family. It was blatantly obvious from my grandmother's words that it was the sole reason for her gratitude.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Granny. You just care about your fucking business. You don't actually care that your daughter is healthy again. It's just Now she can go back to her husband and we can get money again. We'll no longer be, like, impoverished. I don't like her family at all.
To the woman who had brought her into the world, my mother was nothing but a defective political tool. But that only strengthened my determination to take care of her. Once the doctor's explanation was over, my grandmother went straight home without even stopping by to see her daughter's face. I heard her muttering the names of business partners to herself as she went. She was probably planning to hurry back to the house and inform them of the news. Then again, I wasn't exactly eager to have her visit my mother with that sort of an attitude. So if anything, her quick departure was convenient.
お母さん、来週退院が決まったわ。
Dropping a pile of magazines and books onto the shelf as usual, I spoke to my mother in a tone of sincere cheerfulness.
そうじゃあおばあちゃんやおじいちゃんに迷惑をかけることもなくなるのね。何よりこうやって由美子に来てもらわなくても大丈夫になるからそれが一番安心ね。
お母さん、
私由美子にこうして負担をかけてるのが本当に申し訳なかったから。
Sorry. Early day. As usual.
My mother spoke those words with real remorse in her voice. But at that moment, the burden didn't seem so heavy. My mother's feelings were more than enough compensation.
カーテン開けてもらえるかしら。
Just as requested, I pulled back the curtains from the window at Mom's side. A vault of blue stretched out beyond the panes of glass. It was the very picture of a summer sky. Compared to the heart of the city where the Sakaki house stood, the blue in that place seemed far more pure and vivid.
今日もいい天気ね。ここを出るときには一度屋上に上がって空を見てみたいわ。
This is all gonna go terribly, isn't it? That's how these things go. Something terrible is gonna happen.
Toshi-san told me once that my mother had always enjoyed gazing at the sky. She didn't look for anything in particular, just tilted her head back and watched. And when people asked her why, she could never find an answer. Memories from the day we first came to town flashed into my mind. We'd walked hand in hand under a beautiful blue sky, but Mother's dull, lifeless eyes had never left the path below our feet. But she'd finally remembered the sky. That could only mean she was on her way to recovery.
そうだね。ここを出るときには一緒に空を見ようね。
そうね。
It occurred to me that I didn't have a single memory of the two of us doing something like that together. I found myself very much looking forward to the small event that would accompany my mother's discharge from the hospital.
Oh, my nose. I've got a feeling a sneeze coming on. Oh, hello, yawn.
Everything was moving in a positive direction. The stupidly optimistic scenario I had sketched out in my imagination was coming closer and closer to reality. My mother's recovery produced clear changes in my own emotions. I'd barely spoken to anyone in the weeks since Toshi-san's death, but I was slowly beginning to communicate with those around me. My grandparents still kept their distance. But if I approached them myself using my mother as a pretext, I could at least get them to have a conversation with me. Mother's recovery was their primary objective, after all. And they couldn't avoid hearing me out if I brought it up. Watching my grandparents interact with me despite obvious reluctance, I felt as though I had achieved a small but significant rebellion against the people who'd spent years ignoring my very existence. I'm right here. I'm in an important position. More than anything else, that sense of meaning gave me strength. In school, the others still rejected my very existence, but that didn't bother me much anymore. I would be returning to the Sakaki house once my mother recovered. This hollow school life would be over soon enough. The end was in sight. That suffocating feeling of entrapment was gone. No matter what they said about me, no matter how they laughed, it rolled off me harmlessly.
Alright. Something bad's happening, isn't there? Something bad is gonna happen. I just know it. I just know it. How's everyone doing? Everybody doing okay? That did get, you know, that did get pretty real and a bit much there for a second. Wasn't really expecting that. That kind of went, well, way beyond anything we've ever fucking experienced before in this game. That was just a lot. Give myself a few seconds here just to relax. I got a bit of a headache starting. That's always fun. No, it's not. It's never fun. There.
3 days before my mother was scheduled to leave the hospital, I was hurrying to school through the rain. The drizzle that had begun a little after midnight was just picking up into a steady, heavy rain as I left the house. My umbrella wasn't enough to catch it all. Pausing for a moment, I glanced up at the angry sky beyond the edge of my umbrella. It was covered in deep black clouds from horizon to horizon, without so much as a patch of clear sky in between.
Is this where she gets her fear of lightning? This is where she's gonna get her fear of lightning, isn't it?
Since our conversation the other day, Mom had begun to spend a lot of time looking out her window. That was nice enough when the weather was clear. Staring up at a menacing sky like that might inspire a bit of gloominess, just as her feelings were finally starting to take an upward swing. I'd have to hurry to the hospital and cheer Mom up as soon as school was over. With that thought, I began to walk again. And just as I reached the intersection between the road to the school and the main street leading to the station, a familiar face appeared from around the corner.
The random journalist?
どうもどうも。
Yep.
由美子ちゃん、久しぶりだね。 元気してた？
おじさん
But it wasn't a face I was eager to see. I instantly recognized the tabloid reporter who had once wheedled me into becoming a source for an article that mixed fragments of truth with innuendo and lies. Standing under a large jet black umbrella that seemed to mirror the rain clouds above, he looked me over with a faint smile on his face.
いやー、しばらく見ないうちに可愛くなったね。お母さん譲りかな？それともお父さんに似たのかな？
Oh no, 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 please do not. I will fucking end it here.
His words seemed to have grown even greasier and more presumptuous than before. When I walked past him silently, the reporter fell easily in behind me, keeping pace as though I invited him to follow.
ちょっと聞きたいことがあってね。またここに来るようになったんだけど、そこの喫茶店で話とか聞かせてくれないかな？
Don't do it, game. Please, do not do this to me. Not today.
以前にも言いましたよね。私はあなたにお話しするようなことは一切ありません。
そんな。君のお父さんのことじゃないか。話すことなんかたくさんあると思うんだけどな。
ありません。父とはもう何年も会っていないんです。
It was incredibly unpleasant to have this man bring up that topic now. The Sakaki house was the invisible mass around which we all orbited. I knew my current lifestyle was possible only because of his financial support. But sometimes I couldn't help feeling a powerful burst of resentment toward the father I barely knew. In particular, when people carelessly assumed we must have some kind of relationship.
もういいですから付きまとわないでください。変な噂を立てられるの。
Stopping briefly, I spat out the clearest possible rejection, then quickly turned around to leave. I couldn't allow the trouble of this sort to arise so soon before Mom was to leave the hospital. There was no telling how speaking to this man for even the briefest moments might come back to haunt me.
本当にそうなのかな？
The reporter, no longer trying to follow, called out to me from behind. His words were suggestive, his tone unusually serious. I came to a halt despite myself.
だから何なんですか一体。
Rationally, I understand. It would have been the same either way. I know that it wasn't the cause of what would follow. But still, somewhere deep down inside, I can't help believing everything would have been different if I only walked away.
そうもいかないんだよ。だってこの話、君に弟ができたってことなんだからね。
Oh. Oh.
What? When I turned back to face him, the man was wiping at his rain-damp forehead with a knowing smirk on his face.
これに載ってるよ。もっとも、由美子ちゃんが読むような雑誌じゃないけどね。
The reporter reached out and presented me with a magazine, already open to a certain article. Practically grabbing it from his hands, I ran my eyes frantically across the page. And the moment I saw that headline, the blood in my veins seemed to freeze solid. East Beach Express President Sakaki Michiaki's illegitimate child? Long-awaited son born to a mistress. Bold sans serif headlines, emphasized by sharp decorative flourishes. Below, the face of a man I hadn't seen in a while lined up with a portrait of his unfamiliar partner. Paragraphs full of vicious words that I could barely stand to read. And at the very end, one sentence that plunged me below even despair. As I had doubted my ears in a hospital room weeks before, this time I doubted my eyes. Oh. Currently arranging for a divorce from his wife. Those few brief words, buried in the final paragraph as if it was the most trivial thing in the world, hit me with the force of a hurricane.
Oh, good God.
I'd heard the rumors. I more or less understood that Father was that sort of person. But there was no worse way to have those suspicions confirmed. Why? Why now, when my mother was recuperating in the hospital? Why now, when she was finally getting better? Was this article even true? Many thoughts swirled chaotically through my head. My hands trembled and lost their hold on that hateful piece of paper.
ちょっと落とさないでよ。これだって一応資料なんだからさ。
The magazine fell to the wet pavement with a slap. As it hit the ground, the pages that had been folded back flipped around, revealing the cover. And as if to turn the dagger in my wound, one final piece of information was revealed to me.
Oh no, it's gonna be a magazine her mom reads. Oh no, 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 this is not good.
A tasteful work from a well-known painter, behind a number of carefully arranged headlines in a firm serif typeface. A weekly magazine, but one that clearly distinguished itself from the tabloids and gossip rags. A magazine of some credibility. A magazine my mother asked for every week.
Oh no, not good.
というわけで、ぜひこの件についてお姉ちゃんとしてコメントを聞きたいんだけど。ってちょっとおい。
Oh dear. Oh yeah, this is not good. Not good at all. This is the worst way for her mother to hear about her own divorce. Her own upcoming divorce.
Charging up the sidewalk that ran alongside the prefectural highway, I sprinted all out along a farm road, slanting diagonally through the fields of green. The path didn't turn toward my school, so it offered an ever so slightly more direct route. But it was only a farm road. In places, it hadn't even been paved. It was an extremely difficult course to run on a rainy day. But I didn't have the luxury of worrying about that right at the moment. I needed to get to the hospital as soon as I possibly could. I needed to stop my mother. With the recent improvement in her condition, Mom had started to leave her room and visit the hospital store to purchase her own books and magazines. If the nurses were still delivering them with the mail, there was at least a chance they'd check for articles that might upset her. But it was hard to imagine the clerks in the shop would have been told to do the same. Halfway there, I could no longer muster the effort to keep my umbrella upright above me. I let the rain strike me and focused all my attention on running. The water went flying with every heavy stride, slapping against my legs, soaking my skirt. The small ember of satisfaction warming my chest only minutes before had been smothered completely out of existence. I was cold to my very core.
Oh boy.
ちょっと廊下を走らないでください。すみません。
My momentum barely slowed after arriving at the hospital. I understood perfectly well that running in the hallways was off limits. But the rules I'd always obeyed mattered less than reaching my destination even a moment sooner. Turning a corner on the 3rd floor, I finally entered the wing reserved for private rooms. A moment later, my feet came to an abrupt halt.
Oh no. Oh no 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 no. I'm saying it right now again, guys. I'm saying it right now again. Just I feel like something really bad is gonna happen, so just content warning right now. Just content warning. This does not seem good. This does not sound good. I don't like where this is going.
There was something unusual going on in front of that familiar door. For a moment, I was simply bewildered. 3 strange men in expensive suits were standing just outside my mother's room, talking to each other, just on the verge of entering. A vague but powerful sense of dread ran through my body like a jolt of electricity.
They're the divorce lawyers, aren't they?
何をしてるんですか?
I shouted angrily as I approached. The man who had been reaching for the door hesitated. Before I could continue, the white-haired man at the head of the little group preempted me with a question.
失礼ですが、どちら様ですか?
この病室の榊美佐子の娘です。あなたたちこそ誰なんですか? 母に何のご用ですか?
Unperturbed by my fierce attitude, the white-haired man answered with a calm smile.
ああ、あなたが由美子さんですね。申し遅れました。私、榊家の顧問弁護士をしております。須田と申します。
This took a turn.
弁護士?
Yeah, divorce lawyer time.
ええ。この度はお母様の件でちょっとお話がございまして、立ち寄らせていただきました。お母様はいらっしゃいますか?
The magazine article I'd read minutes before flashed vividly before my eyes. Currently arranging for a divorce. In a heartbeat, my mind connected those words to this lawyer's sudden arrival.
すいません。
あ?
父を離婚させるために来たのでしょ。今母は病気なんです。そんな話なんかしたらどうなるかわかるでしょ。
由美子さん、それは誤解です。私たちはその件ではなく、今後のお二人のことについて。
嘘、さっき雑誌で見たわ。全部知ってるんだから。
The man's composed face distorted into a scowl at the word magazine. He must have been trying to reach us before that information did.
仕方ないな。おい。
はい。
With a small movement of the lawyer's hand, the 2 men who'd been hanging back moved quickly toward me. They had me physically subdued before I could even register surprise. What the fuck are they doing? What the fuck is going on? One man had slipped behind me and caught my arms in a firm full Nelson. The other stood in front of me like a wall, eliminating any chance of escape.
There's no nurses or anyone in this hospital is gonna stop this from happening. Really shitty hospital then.
I screamed desperately, but they weren't the sort of people to flinch at the cries of a young woman. The private wing was never a busy place. Today, it was entirely empty. and with the heavy rain drumming down outside, I doubt anyone else in the building even heard my voice. And of course, against the strength of 2 full-grown adults, a child like myself was completely powerless.
しばらくおとなしくしていてください。
The lawyer's voice had grown cold. It was the all-too-familiar voice of an adult.
榊美佐子さん、弁護士の津田と申します。お話があってまいりました。失礼しますよ。
His words were extremely polite. If anything, that made them all the more frightening. Ignoring my tear-choked plea, he pushed open the door to my mother's hospital room. I was the first to react. The bed sitting by the window, which had always been occupied before, was now empty.
うざいか。まあいい。待たせてもらうこととしよう。
In contrast to the perpetually calm lawyer, I was filled with a profound sense of unease. The doctors always made their rounds at this time of day, and none of the patients were allowed to move around freely, much less my mother. They'd given her a normal space for the sake of camouflage, but by all rights, she belonged in a room with bars on the window. Normally, it wouldn't be unusual to move a patient only 3 days from discharge back into the hospital's general ward, but my mother's condition was still delicate. Her physician had decided to handle everything cautiously until the very end. It just wasn't possible that Mom had simply stepped out at this time of day.
何ですか、あなたたちは。
Yeah, maybe you can get them to get the fuck out of your hospital.
The doctor had arrived for his daily rounds. For a moment, he simply stared at the bizarre scene inside the room with confusion in his eyes. Before the lawyer could stand to offer a greeting, I yelped out from the corner where the men had deposited me.
え？ついさっきまでここにいたと報告を受けていたんですが、そうだろう。
He turned to the nurse at his side for confirmation, a hint of alarm in his voice.
Oh no.
はい、確認しましたので、そう
Oh
伝え
no.
ましたが。
Oh no.
The startled nurse looked around the room as if expecting to find my mother hiding in a corner. It was all too much for me to process. Everything was moving forward smoothly only an hour ago. But now we were derailed, hurtling rapidly away into darkness and confusion. All of our painstaking work falling apart around us. I had to look for my mother. I had to keep her from finding out about that article. I had to get out of this room, away from these people. Countless thoughts stampeded wildly through my head, but there was just one thing that seemed clear to me. I couldn't just sit there waiting. Before anything else, I had to find Mom. And all of a sudden, I remembered.
ここを出るときには一度屋上に上がって空を見てみたいわ。
Oh no 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 no. I see where this is fucking going. Don't do it, game. Do not do this to me. Do this to us, please.
The words rang out so clearly in my ears that for a moment I thought she was really there, speaking to me. Pushing my way around the men who'd been holding me in check, I slipped past the doctor and dashed out into the deserted hallway.
ほら、待ちなさい。
I heard voices from behind. I ignored them. I didn't have any real proof. But there was nothing else for me to go on, so I had no choice but to cling to my intuition. Taking the stairs 2 at a time, I headed for the very top of the building.
Yeah, mega content warning right now, guys. Major content warning, because I think I have a good feeling of what the hell's gonna happen. So just big content warning right now. I think her mom's gonna unalive.
By the time I managed to struggle all the way to the rooftop, my breath was coming in quick, ragged gasps, and my legs were burning beneath me. I felt about ready to collapse. After all, I'd sprinted from my house to the hospital, and then from Mom's room up to the roof with barely a pause in between.
Good God, this is gonna end so badly. I need to just get through it.
But exhaustion was the last thing on my mind. I threw myself against the door with the last of my momentum, swinging it wide open wide.
Okay, they have the fence around, okay. That's good. Oh, man. Well, that's not a way to stop it. That's just a deterrent.
Alone in the dark, engulfed by the roar of the rainstorm, I screamed for my mother. It was coming down so hard now that mist was rising from the bare concrete. Even seeing across the rooftop was a challenge. Naturally enough, given the weather, I couldn't make out any signs of human presence.
Oh, thank God.
But just as I muttered those words, a white shadow stirred in the darkness. It was a human being. A woman dressed in the white clothes of a patient standing in the rain. From her height and length of her hair, I realized at once it was my mother.
This is gonna end so badly. I already know it. I'm apologizing to you guys right now. But holy fuck.
I splashed through the puddles to her side. She was staring blankly up into the sky, battered by the powerful rain, her entire body utterly soaked. I grabbed my mother by the shoulder and shook her frantically, trying to catch her attention. But her eyes were fixed on the sky. She didn't so much as budge. It was obvious at a glance something was terribly wrong. Halfway through the sentence, I noticed something lying on the ground at the very edge of my peripheral vision. It was flapping around in the wind.
It's the magazine.
I had a feeling I'd seen it before. Not long ago, in fact. That cover, that tasteful painting, the work of a well-known artist, those headlines set in a restrained professional font.
Yeah, it's the magazine.
The magazine containing that article was lying at my mother's feet. My hand slipped off her shoulder. I staggered backward, barely staying on my feet. Why had this happened? Why did everything have to fall apart just when we were finally starting to move forward? Why was my mother standing there, soaking wet? Why did she have that blank expression on her face? Many questions bubbled to the surface of my mind. None of them had answers. They just sat there, suspended in my mind, stagnating, until they putrefied into a pool of solid sludge.
My God, more descriptive words for this stuff.
My mother fixed her lifeless eyes on mine. I was startled. It was the first time for as long as I can remember that my mother had looked me straight in my face.
Oh, you know something's bad, boy, and we're going wrong when.
But that was, without a doubt, the worst possible way for that chain to be broken.
あなた今
Oh, no. Oh, good fuck. She is in some major shock right now. This ain't good. This ain't good. I need to get through this.
There was no light in my mom's eyes. The words she spoke posed a question, but there was nothing like actual curiosity behind them. It was the voice of a machine.
言ってくるの
I wanted desperately to convince myself she was joking. But no matter how I tried, I couldn't make myself believe it. The evidence before my eyes was simply too powerful.
今
Mom's face was paler than white, and at the center of her wide eyes, there were two bottomless dark wells where her pupils had been. Those tiny spots of black seemed more vast and more profound than the black sky stretching out endlessly above us. I was standing on the edge of an abyss, and I was afraid. It felt as though I might fall into those pools of darkness and disappear. But I couldn't stop staring. I couldn't avert my eyes from the thing that was trying to swallow me whole. After all, she was the only person left in the world who had ever acknowledged my existence.
Not anymore.
I called out to her, praying the word might pull her back from across the chasm that separated us. But it was too wide. My voice was too weak. I was too weak. I shrunk away, just one step. My heel slid backward across the wet roof. And then, for just a moment, it felt as though my body was floating. Disoriented by a sharp impact to my backside, I didn't realize that I'd been pushed out of the way until I saw the doctor moving past me.
早く他の患者に見つからないようにベッドへ。 As I sat stunned on wet concrete, they took my vacant-eyed mother in their arms. They were carrying her off like an oversized doll, away from me, to some place I didn't know. Pushing myself off the ground, screaming, I ran toward her. I didn't make it 3 steps before another nurse caught me in her arms.
大丈夫よ由美子さん大丈夫だからいやどこに連れて行くのやめて
Rising above the pattering of black rain, a baleful roar filled the air. Crawling up from the depths of the earth, demolishing everything in its path. That sound, like a massive boulder tumbling relentlessly across the world, merged with the scene before my eyes and engraved itself violently onto my heart.
So that's why she's terrified of the lightning. She now forever associates it with this. Oh boy. Yeah, That's a problem.
I tried to follow with my eyes as they carried her away. I strangled out one final cry. In response, the world filled with intense light, as though a dozen cameras had flashed at once. For a moment, I was dazzled. And by the time my vision returned to normal, there was nothing left to see. No, not quite nothing. On that otherwise empty roof, one waterlogged magazine remained. It was dissolving by now, paper melting away, ink blurring into illegibility. But my memory of the truth it contained wouldn't disappear so easily. My broken mother was gone. The doctor who'd smiled and told me she'd be leaving the hospital was gone. I was absolutely alone. I crumbled where I stood. My knees hit the ground first, then my hands, then my face. The wet concrete was pleasantly cold against my cheek. Maybe if I lay here long enough, I would melt away and disappear. Just like that magazine. The ground was cold, but my body was hot. I'd used up everything I had. I was empty. I'd given up on the very idea of moving. The merciless rain continued to pour down on me. Jet black rain, even though it wasn't night. The vicious dark water pooled around me, creeping up my body as if to swallow me whole. I am stopping it right there. Like, I need to stop it there. This is just... Oh my god. Holy fuck. That was a lot more real than I thought it was going to be. I mean, I expected that, but I know this game is just, you know, very real, but fuck. This is way too... Yeah. I was prepared for some stuff. I wasn't prepared for this. So I'm just gonna call it here for today. I'm just done right now. I can't. I just can't. Like, oh my god. I hope you guys are doing okay. I, again, apologize. I mean, I did have the content warning just in general, but I did not expect that. Like, fuck. Okay. Really gotta take a minute there to kind of decompress. Fucking Christ. I had to lurk for a little. Am I allowed to ask what happened? It turns out in the years that since her father, they were away and she was taking care of her mother at the countryside, her father had a mistress, and then all of a sudden in a magazine they announced that he had a boy and was preparing to divorce his wife. And his wife found out said information through said magazine before his lawyers arrived to, you know, tell her.
So little tiny Yumiko had to watch the doctors drag away her catatonic mother, who was just standing on the roof of the building in the rain, barely responsive. Yeah, it was rough. Yeah, it was very, very rough. Whew. Yeah, I'm gonna have to really do something to take my mind off of that, for sure. And, you know what? Yeah, you're right, Nevermore, it's surprise time, aka, what am I planning to do for, well, the rest, next week? I just posted it in the Discord, and now I'm gonna show you guys. Sunday will be Fruit of Grisaia, still. Might change that, don't know, we'll see. But you'll notice, Monday and Wednesday, something very, very special. And by special, I mean, yay, I go to another psychological fucking visual novel. But finally, after almost a year in the works of planning and figuring this out, I'll be playing through Doki Doki Literature Club Plus, and having my first actual on-stream collab with my good friend Jen. Good friend Jen, one of the people that kind of inspired me to start streaming too. Just my luck, I can't see it live. We both pre-ordered Doki Doki Literature Club Plus when it was announced, and we want to experience the new content that is in there, like their side stories, but you can only unlock those by actually playing through the game. Jen herself has already played through the game on stream in its entirety. I was watching back then as one of her mods entirety, so I saw all of that in its entirety. And we both kind of decided, at least mostly her, we don't want to have to play through the game again to get the new stuff. Unless we did it, like, with other people. That way it wouldn't be as, kind of arduous and just kind of a drag to go through stuff we've already seen. Just to get some new content. So that's what that's what we plan to do. Just collab it, play through it together. So at the very least, we got someone else we can easily talk to and stuff to just get through, because we know all of Doki Doki's tricks. We know what's gonna happen. Well, I mean, we don't know all of its tricks, because this is Doki Doki Plus. This is the game rebuilt in like the Unity engine or something, so it can work on consoles. Because I got the PS4 version. That thing hasn't even entered this PlayStation. I've only did the unboxing of the game when I got it. So yeah, that is my big surprise I've been hyping up. I'm having a collab, finally. After 2 years, I'm finally having a collab on stream. And it's gonna be with one of my best friends. And, well, the rest of in there is, the more Gundam. We'll finally get into Char's counterattack, but that's Thursday and Friday. But so it's Grisaia, Doki Doki, and Gundam. That's what we got. Now, we gotta go and we gotta do something to kind of bring everyone looking forward to it. I'm glad you are. I'm really looking forward to it. Like, I'm like really excited to do this, in all honesty. I'm super excited. I've wanted to do some kind of collab with someone. I knew I had one kind of, like, the startings of one planned with Jen, and I just finally, like, I think it was like last week or the week before, I just asked. It's like, hey, do you still want to do this? And she said, yes, absolutely, and just figured out between our schedules when would be the best time to start. And, well, Monday. Monday is when we start. So yeah, I'm gonna be very happy and excited because I'm gonna be playing through a game that I actually do. I do like Doki Doki in general. You guys know that. Natsuki, #1, best girl to me, and also to Jen. We have refined taste. So I'm just super excited and happy. I believe she'll probably also start streaming it too. She's just because of her work, she takes a hiatus throughout most of the year, so more than likely gonna be her first one of her first streams back. So there's her command. Here, I got commands for friends and very important streamer friends to me. So yeah, it's Monday, Doki Doki Literature Club Plus with Jen. That'll be fun. So I guess what I'm going to be doing partway through Saturday, before I do our Discord watch along, that's going to be making sure I got everything set up so I can easily, like, mute her so you guys don't hear it, or I mute myself so she doesn't hear if I'm talking to you guys or something. And also maybe trying to get some kind of reaction image up of, just whenever she speaks, her image would light up or something. So I gotta do all that while also figuring out to get the Discord sound to be on a separate soundtrack so I can control that so it's separate from the everything else. Yeah, I gotta figure a few things out. I've never done this before. It'll be something. So expect that first collab stream to be a little bit of a troubleshooty one if I don't figure shit out on time. But anyway, I am gonna call it here for 100% for today. Grisaia was rough. Yeah, I need to just kind of chill and need something, calm-ish, and fun and happy. So we're gonna go and raid Oracle. It's always a good time going into her streams. Always a fun time, always a chill time. Just great vibes all around. So, thank you again, everybody, for, watching, commenting, and lurking, and bearing with me through the Grisaia right now. I do appreciate it a lot, guys. So, I hope, all have yourselves a great rest of your night. And I'll see you next time.